Today's August 14th, 2009. Some have been concerned with this narrow, choppy market that we have, and those of you who join us on the calls, I've been telling you that this really has reminded me of one of the old-time summers. It used to be a lot of the traders, the pro traders, would be gone during the summertime because the market gets narrower. It congests a lot, which means it gets real choppy, like you see here, today's action. So I wanted to cover just a simple little indicator you could use might help you in some of these situations not to get into a trade when the market is real choppy or it's congesting, which means there's not really any clear direction in the market. And that happens if we're really swinging. It doesn't really affect us much, but we haven't been swinging a lot lately. In fact, the trend here lately has been a nice move in the morning like we saw this morning, and then kind of an ugly looking day, or most of the rest of the day. Today it just turned out to be that way pretty much the rest of the day. So what can help you to maybe stay out and see that that's what's happening in the market? The first thing you want to look at it would be your platform, having the volume column set up so you can see the volume. Usually when we get in a real narrow range and it's real choppy, there's not much volume. So if you see that that's happening, then that gives you an indication that the market is congesting or getting choppy. Another thing you can put on your ad chart is this choppiness indicator. Now, just like with any indicator, it can be wrong at times. I was even cautious about sharing this with anyone because, I don't want you to get too uptight about what you do and don't have on your chart. I still think the simpler you keep it, the better off you are. But from time to time, you might want to add this on there, this choppiness indicator. And what this indicator is basically telling you, see I have it below the MACD here. I've got my slow stochastic, the MACD, and this choppiness on here. So what it's telling you, this choppiness indicator, is that the market is primed for that to occur, for choppiness or congestion with no clear direction in the market. So what usually happens if that condition exists in the market is just a very narrow channel like we saw today, just a little bit of movement up and down and not much clear direction either way. So we had the nice drop in the morning and then some choppiness here. So hopefully you got this drop here and then you called it a day. So if you stick with that pattern, like most of us do, then the choppiness day won't really bother you because you won't even be watching it. But the reason I want to make the video, it shows, it's kind of an ideal situation to show how this indicator works if you ever want to put this on there. Notice how right at the open here, it was kind of halfway up the chart. The way the choppiness indicator works is the higher it is up on the chart, the more choppy or congesting the market is showing to be. When it goes low like this, it's saying, okay, now would be a good time to make a trade. When it goes back up, it's showing more choppiness, and it's showing this might not be a great time to make a trade when it's, especially the higher it is, the less you would be wanting to get involved in the market in those conditions. So you notice at the open, it was about probably right up in here. It's kind of, in my opinion, when it's kind of mid-chart, it's not really doing you a whole lot of good, but it's getting toward the caution area, and then it starts dropping as the price is dropping, and that's how you'll see it. A lot of times it'll be up here, and when it starts dropping, it's showing you the congestion is ending. There's a clear direction developing. Now, just because the price is dropping here, the price could go up even, and this would drop. I'll show you an example of that here toward the end, but it's just all this is tracking is how congested the market is, and the higher this is on the chart, the more congestion it's showing. And when it comes down low like this, it's saying, hey, there's a real trending going on, and you can get into the market. So if your setup comes and it's down here, that's good. If your setup comes and it's up here, that's not so good. And you see what happened. It dropped here. The choppiness indicator dropped, and it was showing, okay, it's looking good here. And then it starts to go back up, and now we've entered into a real channel that continues to be ugly the rest of the day. But notice right here, it started to go up, and the choppiness indicator starts dropping. See, it's congesting right in here, and then it starts showing some direction, so the indicator starts dropping. So this has nothing to do with up and down as far as the price is concerned. It goes up when the market's congesting, and it goes down when there's a clear direction being shown. In other words, there's more buyers or there's more sellers. But when there's about an equal number of buyers and sellers, or not much volume at all, which is usually what happens in here in something like this, then it's the choppiness indicator is going to be real high on the chart. So if you wanted to get that on your chart, you might have to change some things around if you're using all your studies. Let me move this down here. I put in the triple moving average, and you can edit that here. I did something different here too. I put the 50 simple moving average in instead of the 60 EMA. Many are using the 60, the 20, and the 9, and that's okay. The 50, though, a lot of traders use that 50, and it's real similar to the 60. There's a couple things about it that we can talk about on the calls. The reason why I kind of like it a little better, but either one will work. So you put your 3 EMAs in here, or put a 50 if you want to with a simple. Then you got the EMAs. Oh, I had that on SMA. Better change that to EMA. So I got the 9, the 20. Let's see, it'll change it a little bit maybe. Then after you do this, you might want to go to your chart preferences and save it again. So on studies, that gives you, then you can take off those moving averages. Just be sure to move them to select a study if you don't want anything there. So I've got the stochastic. I moved it up, the MACD, choppiness, and I could put something else on here if I wanted to now. So you might want to do that and look at the choppiness indicator. It could give you somewhat of a clue. I wouldn't make any trades solely based upon it, but see, if my setup is coming like it was here, we opened up with an 80 setup, and then this starts dropping. That's a good sign that the congestion is leaving. It would have been even better if this would have already been way down here at the open, and then our 80 setup was there. But some of you probably just jumped right on the 80 and wrote it down. So that was a nice trade, and it turned out to be the best trade of the day. So have fun with it, guys, and we look forward to trading with you soon.